Hello, in this video I shall be giving the analysis on a topic. So the topic is rules of economy must shift towards workers rather than wealthy investors. So in companies or in enterprises, those who are investing, they are wealthy, we know that, and those who are working are comparatively poorer. So in order to bring up these conditions of workers in the companies, the rules of economy or the fundamentals of economy must be framed in such a way that they benefit the workers or the labor instead of the investors. So we'll have an analysis on this. So recently, due to COVID-19 lockdown, we know that we are facing severe economic slowdown and severe income crisis in the country. So in order to increase our economy, improve our economy, or to reduce income crisis, the loss of income of many people or the whole country at large, the economists have come up with three solutions. So the three solutions are to free up markets, that is to open up markets, to increase productivity, to bring more technology applications in the companies. So these are the three options or three solutions that the economists are prescribing in order to increase our economy. So we'll analyze each one of them and how they are impacting the labor in a negative way. So the first thing is agriculture. If we open up markets in agriculture, if we free up the markets, the farmers' income would increase. So this is a good thing, but there is a negative aspect on the condition of laborer. So when the markets are freed up, that means labor laws will also be freed up. So the laborers or the labor community will be totally under the hands of the rich investor. So investments will increase if the labor laws are freed. Because of this, investments in economy will increase. So in order to increase economy, investments should be increased. So in order to increase investments, labor laws must be relaxed, but labor laws will not benefit laborers. They will tend to harm the laborers. So they may lose their basic income. So this is negative towards laborers, and the wage cost burden will decrease for the investor. That is, they don't need to pay huge wages, huge salaries to the laborers, and this is posing a threat to human rights. So when you are not buying a commodity, so buying is for a commodity and it's not for a human, it's not for a worker. So the labor laws must not be relaxed. If they are relaxed, they will tend to pose harm to laborers. So that is called a slave market. So this is very wrong. So this brings a topic of human rights versus economic considerations. So in order to increase economy, we are going to compromise with human rights by relaxing labor laws, which is a big negative aspect in any country. So this has to be thought about while also thinking about increase in economy. So the next thing is productivity rise. So in order to increase the productivity, we are asked to improve our machinery in our companies. So this will replace labor, this will replace workers. So this is also a negative thing for laborers. So we'll see what productivity rise is. So productivity rise is the ratio of output is to input. So output divided by input gives productivity rise. So productivity rise is measured in terms of labor productivity. So labor productivity is considered as universal measure of productivity of economy. So in order to know what productivity that a country is giving out in its economy, we need to see the labor productivity, how much labor productivity is there. So this labor productivity is measured as GDP produced divided by number of people. So the total population in a country is divided by the gross domestic product produce of the country. So by doing this math, we get labor productivity in a country. So that will measure the productivity, whole productivity of the economy. So there is also a company productivity, that means total output divided by number of workers. So total output, if it increases, company productivity increases. If number of workers decreases, company productivity will increase. If the output is more with less number of workers, company productivity is good. So for this, the number of workers are going to be decreased by companies. So this is also a negative thing because the workers are going to lose their jobs. And the third thing is technology applications. So this is measured by the level of technology in a country. So the economy tends to increase, we know that. So the equipment cost per workplace is what equipment cost you are placing per workplace. This has to be increased in order to increase the technology or to increase the equipment. So thereby the total economy will increase. So this is a kind of westernizing and technologizing. So westernizing and technologizing will also replace labor, will also replace workers and bring technology into companies. So this is called dual economy. So there is an economist by name Schumacher. So Schumacher spoke that by making this economy more technologized, traditional workplace will be destroyed. That means workers will be destroyed, and how developing countries are dependent on small industries, small enterprises, or traditional form of workers, that all will be destroyed. This whole fabric will be destroyed. So there will be mass unemployment and mass migration from the country, which is also a negative thing. So these solutions can increase economy, but they are posing threat to laborers or the worker community. So what is the solution? So there has to be a good social contract. So social contract means the workers and society must have good contract with each other. The workers give service to the society, and the society must give dignity to workers. So this is called a social contract. So dignity is by giving them adequate incomes. So income of laborers must not be reduced, or the labor laws must not be relaxed. So the good society must be ensured by government. So government is responsible. It is the duty of government to ensure good society and good living conditions, not just to the investors only, but also to workers. So it must not give away with workers' conditions. It must also look after them. And these contracts must be regulated in that way. So contract between the company and the workers must be regulated through government's mediation. So workers must not be left alone in the hands of the investors. So again, human appreciating assets. So humans are called appreciating assets. Appreciating assets means whatever assets that can improve their quality. Humans can improve their quality, whereas machines cannot improve their quality over time. So this must be recognized. So value of machines will depreciate over time. So humans have to, or the workers have to give more importance than machines. So hire and fire policy must be broken. So hire and fire policy is companies hire when they need workers and they fire away. So that means they ask them to resign, or they just let them go away when they don't need much workers. So this policy must not be there. That must be regulated by government. So these used and discarded workers, they go away and they migrate due to job loss to other countries. So government must intervene, and they must see that these workers are paid well and are staying in companies itself. And finally, we must adopt this Japanese example. So Japanese came up with an example of total quality management in 1960s and 70s, and with this concept of total quality management, it became the most competitive market in the world. So total quality management is simple. That means limited capital resources will be there, limited machines will be there, limited technology will be there. With that limited thing only, they were able to give more output with good coordination between employers and workers. So employers and these labor workers who are working in the company, both of them are working hand in hand to give more output. So they are doing more hard work to give more output through the limited capital resources, not just going with buying more machines or more technology, but with limited resources they have, they are giving more output. So this is called total quality management. So this is a successful example of Japan, and we need to incorporate that. So for this, we need to improve the skill. So with less machines, less technology, and more workers, how can we do this total quality management is by improving skill of the workers. So the power has to be balanced between labor unions and enterprises. So enterprises or the multinational companies or the rich investors are powerful over labor unions. So that must not be there. So the power must be balanced between labor unions all and enterprises. So labor unions must also be heard, must also be powerful. So there must be reforms to see the needs and rights of these labor unions by government intervention. So the governments must finally intervene with labor unions demands, and they must be seen through needs and rights, because nothing can replace, no machine can replace labor force or the workers' quality. So we need to think on this view, and we need to come up with our own answer. So this is the topic for today, and thank you.